This segment is sponsored by Michigan Auto Law. So you've been in an accident and the details are kind of fuzzy as to who's at fault. How is that determined and why is it important for you to know? Well, Brandon Hewitt is an attorney with Michigan Auto Law here to talk us through it. Hi, Brandon.
Hi, good morning, Catherine.
It's good to see you. Why is it important to determine who's at fault for a car accident?
Well, it's because it entitles you to certain rights. So there are three basic claims that come up when you're in a car accident, and two of those matter who was at fault. One doesn't matter because it's your no fault insurance, is what we think about in Michigan. But two of those claims, the damage to your vehicle and a pain and suffering claim, matter who was at fault.
Hmm. Okay, let's talk about evidence then. What do the courts and the police and the insurance adjusters consider when they're determining who's been at fault?
Well, so the advice I always give to people in court, it's not what you know, it's what you can prove. And so it really comes down to evidence, and that's going to have a few factors. So number one, it's going to be the statements of the drivers, right? So who who thinks happened what, who did what, right?
Yep.
So each statement's going to matter, but they're also going to look at other evidence. Are there any independent witnesses that saw the crash? That really matters because those independent witnesses don't have a dog in the fight, right? They don't really care who's at fault. They're just going to tell the police or the court what they think happened.
Yep.
But then other objective evidence like video surveillance cameras. A lot of people now drive with dash cams. Some cars actually have cameras built in that you can put a USB drive into your car and you can actually record your driving while you're going around. So that's very helpful. Whether anybody ran a stop sign or a red light, and then also data from the vehicle's actual black box. So the vehicles themselves can actually tell us a lot about what happened in a crash, if somebody was speeding, if somebody stopped really quickly. So kind of no matter what the drivers say, a lot of times you'll be able to pull that hard evidence from the actual vehicle.
Mm. What are some of the legal reasons that someone might be determined to be at fault in a crash?
Well, pretty simply, what I think of is if you can get a ticket for it, you're probably going to be at fault, right? So basically, what we consider prima facie, and that's a legal term to say assumed to be at fault if you violate a state or city traffic law. So you can get around it with some explanation if there's a valid reason as to why you violated that traffic law. But if you are found guilty of violating that state traffic law, you're going to be assumed prima facie that you were at fault. One of the most common things is rear-ending a vehicle. A lot of times, people might say, well, he pulled out in front of me or the car stopped really fast in front of me. You are responsible as a driver to keep a safe distance between you and another vehicle and also to travel at a speed at which you can stop in time no matter what happens in front of you. So if you rear end a vehicle, I'm sorry to say you are probably going to be assumed to be at fault, that prima facie at fault.
Got it. Okay, let's talk about some of the driving behaviors that might result in a determination of fault in the case of a crash.
I think the two most common behaviors that we see over and over again is number one, speeding. Speeding is found to be the number one contributing factor to crashes. So people just going too fast. And it's becoming a bigger problem ever since the pandemic. People are a little bit more aggressive in their driving behavior. So speeding, absolutely number one, is the biggest problem. Number two, and I think very close to number one, is distracted driving. It's a continuous problem, people not putting down their cell phones, being preoccupied with whatever's going on in their hand versus what's on the road. I think there's a true lack of appreciation for how dangerous driving a vehicle is. I mean, you are driving around a 2,000 to 5,000 pound piece of metal.
Yeah, big responsibility.
Yep, absolutely.
Well, you have provided a whole list of driving behaviors that go beyond the speeding and the distracted driving. And we'll put that list up on our website. I think it's important for folks to see that. It'll be at 13onyourside.com. But also for more information, you could contact Michigan Auto Law at 833-411-MICH, that's MICH, or visit michiganautolaw.com. Brandon, thanks so much.
Thank you as always.